Lesson 40, Pronouns. In this lesson, I want to give you some basic grammar knowledge, this time about pronouns. So, what exactly is a pronoun? At its most basic definition, a pronoun is a word that takes the place of a noun. It's a word that you can use instead of a noun. And in fact, this meaning is built into the word pronoun. So the word pronoun is divided into two parts. You have the PRO part at the beginning, and then you have the word noun. So the PRO prefix, that comes from Latin, and it means in place of, instead of, or on behalf of. So literally, pronoun means in place of a noun. So that meaning is actually built into the word itself. So what does it mean that you can use it in place of a noun or instead of a noun? Let's look at a couple of example sentences here. We have Suzanne is wearing a blue dress. And then we say, she bought it last week. So here, she is a pronoun. Pronouns are words like he, she, it, I, we, you, and they. If we chose not to use a pronoun, it would sound like the second example. Let's look at this one. Suzanne is wearing a blue dress. Suzanne bought it last week. That sounds kind of repetitive, doesn't it, to say the word Suzanne twice? So instead of repeating the word Suzanne, in the second sentence you can say she, and that sounds a bit more tidy, doesn't it? So we have some exercises here that are designed to give you some basic practice identifying pronouns and identifying the word that the pronoun takes the place of. So these exercises are set up to be very simple and just to help you learn and understand what these terms mean. So turn off the recording, do the exercises, and then turn the recording back on, and we'll go through them together. Okay, hopefully by now you've finished the exercises. Let's go over them together. In number 1, we have a person named Alfred here. We're talking about Alfred's room. And then we have the word he later in the sentence. The word he is referring back to the word Alfred. So we could say this sentence as, Alfred's room is a mess because Alfred never cleans up. We could put the word Alfred there twice, but it sounds more tidy to say he the second time. So the answer to number 1 is that the word he is the pronoun, and it's taking the place of the word Alfred. By the way, the word that the pronoun refers back to has a special name. We call that the antecedent. The antecedent, that word also comes from Latin. Ante, A-N-T-E, means before, and C-E-D-E-N-T, that part of the word means to go or come. So literally, the word antecedent means something that goes before. That applies here because the word Alfred goes before the pronoun he, and then the word he refers back to it. In number 2, we have another pronoun, but in this case, it's the word it. So the question is, what is the antecedent of the pronoun it? Is it referring back to Jeff? No, that doesn't make any sense. It would be he if it were referring back to Jeff. Instead, the word it here is referring back to the locker room. So the locker room, or perhaps more specifically, just the word room, is the antecedent, and it is the pronoun. It is taking the place of the word room or locker room. In number 3, we have a pronoun, which is she. She is the subject of the sentence, but there is no antecedent here. There's no word that the pronoun is taking the place of. So the answer here is just that the word she is the pronoun. In number 4, we have the word they, and that's a pronoun. Here it's taking the place of the kids. You could say the kids want to come inside because the kids are cold, but it sounds better to say they are cold instead of the kids are cold. The word they is the pronoun, and it's referring back to the kids. It's taking the place of the word kids. In number 5, we have the pronoun he. What is the pronoun he referring back to? Theoretically, it could be referring back to the teacher, but that doesn't really make very much sense, that the teacher didn't listen. In the context of the sentence, it looks more like it's referring back to Johnny. So Johnny is not listening to the teacher, So the answer here is that he is the pronoun, and it's taking the place of the word Johnny. Again, Johnny is the antecedent. Number 6 is next. We are going to the beach. The pronoun here is we, but there is no antecedent here. There's nothing that the word we is referring back to. We don't really have enough context for that. If the sentence were longer and had some words before that, we might have an antecedent, but in this one we don't have an antecedent. Same thing in number 7. The pronoun is the word they, but it's not referring back to anything. We don't know who the they is. In number 8, the pronoun is the word you, and there is no antecedent. We don't know who the you is. It's just talking directly to someone. In number 9, we do have an antecedent. The pronoun is the word it. So what is the word it referring back to? What's it taking the place of? Obviously, the word it is referring back to the rabbit. You could say the rabbit was scared, so the rabbit ran away. But instead, we use the pronoun it to take the place of the word rabbit. If you know the gender of the rabbit, you could perhaps say he ran away or she ran away. But oftentimes in English, if we're talking about an animal, we say it. In number 10, we do have an antecedent. The pronoun is the word they, and it's referring back to the children. So the word they here is taking the place of the word children.